Okay, let's dive into this. You've probably seen them everywhere, right? Those websites that promise to pay you for your opinion. But are they for real? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on one that's been getting some buzz, King Opinion. We're digging into a really detailed review to find out what it is, how the money part actually works, and, the big question, is it even worth your time?
I mean, just think about all that time you spend on your phone. You're waiting for your coffee, you're on your commute, maybe you're just sitting through commercial breaks. What if you could turn all that downtime into, well, actual cash? That is the huge promise behind sites like King Opinion.
All right, so what's their big pitch? What is King Opinion all about? Let's get into it. Okay, so at its core, the idea is actually pretty simple. Think of King Opinion as a matchmaker, really. It connects these big brands and research companies, who are, by the way, desperate for feedback from real people, with folks like you and me. You give them your honest thoughts on things, and in return, they pay you. Simple as that. You're basically monetizing your own point of view. And what jumps out right away is how easy it is to get started. The review really emphasizes this. First off, it's completely free to join, no hidden fees. It also works in a ton of different countries, which is great. And maybe most importantly, you're not just earning some weird, vague points that you can't use. We're talking about actual cash or gift cards you'd actually want. Now, that all sounds great in theory, right? But what's it actually like to get going? Let's walk through the whole process, from the moment you sign up to when you start taking surveys. So the review lays it out in 3 really clear steps. First, the super easy part. You just create your free account. Second, and listen up because this part is crucial, you build out your profile. You can almost think of it as your survey-taking resume. Then, third, the platform's algorithm does its thing and starts matching you with survey invites. And this right here, this is probably the single most important tip in the whole review. The more accurate and detailed your profile is, the better your chances are of actually qualifying for surveys. It's a direct link. So yeah, treat it like your resume for the survey world, because it absolutely pays to be thorough. Okay, so that's how it's supposed to work. But what's the reality of using it day to day? This is where we got to get real and, set some realistic expectations. First thing, let's talk time. How much time are we talking about here? Well, the review found that your typical survey is going to take you anywhere from 5 to 25 minutes. So yeah, these aren't just quick, one-click things. You got to set aside a little bit of focused time for each one. And this leads us to what is, let's be honest, the biggest frustration with any survey site: getting kicked out of a survey. The promise is that you'll earn cash, right? But the reality is, you're just not going to qualify for every single one you try. And the review is really clear about this. This isn't some problem with King Opinion. It's just how the whole market research game works. Brands are looking for a super specific type of person, and a lot of the time, that's not going to be you. The reviewer really hit the nail on the head with this quote. It puts everything in perspective. They said, this isn't something that replaces a job, but it works well as extra income if you already spend time on your phone. And that's the whole key right there. It's all about monetizing the time you're already spending doing nothing. All right, so with all that in mind, who is this really for? Who gets the most value out of a site like this? And of course, let's talk about the most important part, how you actually get your money. Well, the review kind of zeroes in on a few specific groups. First, students. That's a no-brainer. Also, anyone who's just kind of dipping their toes into the whole making money online world. And honestly, it's for anyone who fits that profile we just mentioned, someone who's already on their phone a bunch and just wants to make that time a little more, profitable. So when it's time to cash out, your most common options are going to be PayPal or a whole bunch of different gift cards. But the review points out 2 really key things here. 1, you have to hit a minimum payout amount before they'll send you anything. And 2, the exact options you have might change depending on what country you're in. Okay, let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture. What's the final takeaway here? Where does King Opinion fit into the whole world of online side hustles? Yeah, it's really important to get that King Opinion isn't some totally new revolutionary thing. It's playing in a very well-known and pretty crowded field. You've got other big names in there like Swagbucks and Surveoo, so it's a proven business model, even if it has its challenges. And that really brings us back to the most critical point of this whole explainer. Seriously, if you remember just one thing, let it be this. King Opinion is a tool for extra income. It is not, and I repeat, not a replacement for a full-time job. Think of it as your coffee money, maybe your pizza money, but definitely not your rent money. So, I want to leave you with the same great question the original review asked its readers. If you're someone who already does this kind of thing, what survey sites have you found that actually pay out and are worth the time? Let us know, because honestly, in the world of online side hustles, hearing what works for real people, well, that's everything.